receive an answer, only fragments, islands that didn't connect, coastlines that refused to behave. Columbus insisted he had reached Asia's outskirts, but the geography kept whispering something else. Spain saw a new world of profit. Portugal saw its carefully built trade routes threatened. Because Portugal had spent decades pushing down Africa toward the Indian Ocean, measuring, negotiating, investing, while Spain had gambled west. Now both crowns looked at the same ocean and asked the same question. If land exists out there, who owns it? In the 1490s, ownership wasn't decided by who arrived first, it was decided by who could claim legitimacy. And legitimacy, in Catholic Europe, flowed through Rome. In 1493, papal decisions favored Spain with a proposed line of demarcation, a boundary drawn across the ocean to separate spheres of influence. On paper, it sounded clean. In reality, it was explosive. Portugal rejected it immediately. Not because Portugal feared the unknown West. Portugal feared being locked out of it. So the argument became a tug of war over an invisible line. Move it west, farther into the Atlantic, and Portugal keeps a chance at whatever else exists beyond the horizon. So, in 1494, diplomats negotiated the future with tools meant for paper, not planets, ink, dividers, and estimates. Longitude couldn't be measured reliably at sea, which meant no one could enforce the boundary with precision. But precision wasn't the point. Agreement was. The Treaty of Tordesillas moved the line west, roughly 370 leagues from Cape Verde, splitting the Atlantic into two legal worlds. East of the line, Portugal's sphere; west of the line, Spain's sphere. It was a rule written for a map that didn't exist yet. And that is exactly why it worked. It created permission, turning exploration into a race with paperwork attached. Once the line existed, every voyage became a legal question. Then, in 1500, a Portuguese fleet moving through Atlantic winds reached a massive new coastline, the eastern bulge of South America. And suddenly, the abstract ink stroke became real in the most practical way. That coastline fell on Portugal's side. The treaty didn't predict Brazil. It made Brazil claimable. Spain expanded westward across vast territories. Portugal anchored itself on the Atlantic shoulder of the continent. And centuries later, that difference still echoes, not just in borders, but in language. You can hear Tordesillas every time Portuguese is spoken in South America. And that's the twist. Tordesillas didn't divide land that was known. It divided land that was imagined. The treaty made exploration bureaucratic, turning maps into weapons and paper into permission. The line was never truly measurable, but it didn't need to be, because belief can be stronger than accuracy. And once the world accepts a line, the line becomes real in the only way that matters. It changes what people do. History didn't just happen on